call started. Hello, hello. All right, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. This is a Wealth Wednesday is what I'm going to call it today. First and foremost, welcome, welcome, welcome. For anybody who is new, welcome to our call series. For those of you guys who are not new, welcome back, okay? Welcome back. So first and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Karla, and I'm calling you from Santa Maria, California. And I'm so excited for today's call, you guys. Today, we're going to be talking about key questions to ask to assure your success, okay? But before I do that, I'm going to introduce myself very quickly, okay? So like I said, my name is Karla. I am currently an entrepreneur, and I'm so excited for these call series. We have been doing this. This is call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is call number 5. And every Wednesday at noon, we get on here, and there's always a different lady. Normally, we'll get a guy one of these days to come on here. There's a different lady coming on, sharing her story, sharing her journey, sharing her experience, and how she has been able to live life on her own terms, okay? How she's been able to decide how she's going to live her life, and more importantly, how she's taken action towards that, okay? And I'm no exception to that rule. So, just really brief about me. I'm originally from Uruapan, Michoacan. And so if you're from Uruapan, Michoacan, or from Mexico, drop me a heart. I love my state. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a state that's very rich in culture and agriculture. That's where most of the avocados come from. So you can just imagine how fertile the soil is and all the beautiful things that come from that state, okay? Anyway, I'm originally from there, and I come from a very entrepreneurial family, okay? I come from a family where since I was little, I saw my mom, my aunt, my grandparents, all of them, actually not my my grandparents too. I saw all of them really live life as an entrepreneur. I didn't see many people have jobs, right? A lot of my aunts and stuff like that, they always were selling cars. My mom was selling clothes. They were always doing something. So, here's the deal, right? Here, maybe we can start the class as I tell your story. And that is today's call is about key questions to ask for success, okay? So one key question to ask yourself is, what environment are you around? Okay, so, I was raised in an entrepreneurial environment, but maybe you never were. Maybe you were around people that all of them had jobs. Maybe you were surrounded with people that maybe were not so positive, or maybe you were surrounded with people that were always encouraging you, always positive, right? Whatever the case may be, here's the thing you get to do, is that you get to decide, now that you're an adult, how you're going to live your life. So the other question to ask yourself, okay, if you're taking notes, grab a pen, take some notes, because these are some questions. And you guys, I got 3 pages of notes that I'm going to give you guys today, okay? But one of the things you really want to ask yourself is these key questions for you to go back and ask yourself, and then start to think about and ponder, the answer to these questions that I'm going to give you today, okay? So, anywho, I grew up with that. We came to the US, okay, and my mom had jobs. My aunt, who was like my second mother, she went on with her husband to open some businesses, but my mom got a job at Hewlett Packard. And then from there, even though she was an employee, after work, she was an entrepreneur again. So here she was. She learned how to paint, and then she had us do all kinds of things from home. Like I remember, we used to wrap these pens from home and ship them out. So we were always doing something. Okay. We were always doing something to make money. Okay. All legal. Okay. But we were always doing something to make money. So the other question you might want to start asking yourself is this: what are you doing every single day? That is, if you're a mom, okay, that is what are you teaching your children? Okay, there's a thought for you. Okay, there's a thought for you. It's like, what are you teaching your kids? So I was raised with entrepreneurs, and even when my mom had a job, I was always taught to have something, to always do something. My mom was always selling something, right? And I think sometimes people think oh, I don't like sales. Let me tell you something, honey. Everything in life is sales. If you're going to go on a date with the guy, you got to sell yourself. Okay. If you like a gentleman and you guys want to get married, he has to sell himself, how he's going to make your life a dream come true and then put a ring on it. Right. So like everything in life is selling. So nowadays, I don't think people feel that way anymore. I think these days, because nowadays, everyone's selling something on the internet. Everyone's selling something on Facebook. Everyone's selling something, right? But back then, it was not as cool as it is today, right? Entrepreneur was not as cool. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. So anyway, I was raised like that, came to the US, saw my mom working like crazy. And I've always been a very nerd. Okay. I love to learn. Okay. I love to learn. I love to try new things. And so I was always, how do you say in English? Inquieta. I was always, how do you say inquieta? Like I could never stay still to this day. Okay. I cannot stay still. So I was always doing something. So I too was growing up. I was a cheerleader, and then we needed money for the uniforms. My parents didn't have the money. And so I was like knocking on doors, selling puff shirts and all kinds of stuff. So I'm sharing all this with you because one of the things I want you to tap into as we're doing this call today is, who are you really inside? Like, who are you really, really at the core? Not who have you become, not who have you settled to become as. No, my question to you is, who are you really at the core? Okay. Maybe you at the core, you were that little girl who was always like me, bien inquieta, todo el tiempo haciendo cosas. Maybe you know, how do you say it in English? Like you couldn't stay still. You always wanted to do things. And then maybe somebody told you something stupid, like calm down, and you listened, right? And then you forgot who that person inside is, right? So anyhow, I went, you know, I was told crazy things, by the way, too, growing up. I'm not going to go there. Okay. But I'm just going to say this, you know, what are you teaching your children? Right. And not only from your actions, but with your words. What are you teaching them? What are they watching you do? What are they hearing you say? Okay. And so you know, I went off to college. I went to school. I went to USC, and, you know, it's like top Ivy League school. Okay. And I graduated, and I remember thinking like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, what am I going to do with my life? All I knew was this. Okay. Here's what I knew. I knew that what I wanted, and I knew what I didn't want. Okay. Because I saw my family have the financial means to do things, and they had the time to do them. I knew that I wanted that. And I knew I had a lot of friends who were, their parents were like professionals, but they had these like crazy hours and they couldn't get away. And I remember thinking, well, that sounds cool, right? Like I'm a doctor, but I don't want that because they can never get away. So I was like, no, I don't want that. Okay. So when I graduated, I remember thinking like, man, I want to make a lot of money. Yes, I want to make a lot of money to this day. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, you guys. I remember thinking, I want to make a lot of money. I want to do something that makes me happy, that I'm passionate about. I want to do something that I can help people because I love helping others, right? And I want to have the time to be able to do what I want, when I want, with whoever I want, wherever I want. Like I wanted freedom, but I wanted the money as well. And I was willing to work for that. Okay. And so I found this amazing opportunity and became part of this amazing community. And I'm going to tell you something. I grabbed onto it like this is it. Okay. I remember, you know, graduating from college, seeing all these amazing results, like you've heard from the last couple of weeks, starting to think like, well, if they can do it, why not me? If they can do it, I can do it. And I remember thinking like, okay, pues like, ellos no tienen nada que yo no tenga. Like they don't have anything. They have nothing special that I don't have. Like I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to work. I'm willing to do whatever it takes within my boundaries and my values. I'm willing to do all of that. And that's exactly what I did. Exactly. My very first month, I went to a training. I drove close to 3 hours to the training. I was 23 years old. Here's a question for you to ask yourself. Write this down. What are you willing to do? And where are you willing to go to achieve your goals? Like, what are you willing to do? And where are you willing to go to achieve your results? I ask you that because let me tell you something, okay? And yeah, I'm just gonna tell you, like some people, they want all of this, but they don't even leave their house. Now, yes, I know you can do things online. Yes, I know you can do things through your phone. All of us work with our phone, right? But what I'm talking, I think you guys get what I'm saying. Like they don't want to go after it. They don't want to post that call. They don't want to post that post. They don't want to do that live. They don't want to do the reel. But they want all these things, and life doesn't work that way. Life is reciprocal. You cannot receive continuously if you're not giving. So what are you willing to do, and where are you willing to go to achieve your results, to achieve your goals? So I was willing to drive at 23 years old. Okay. I would drive down to San Jose from Sacramento all the way past San Jose. And I remember going to these meetings, these seminars, and being there, learning and growing and learning and growing and learning and growing and implementing. And my very first month, I made an extra $1,000. I was like, what the heck? I was so excited. Okay. Exactly 6 months later, with the hard work and dedication, I was able to make over $2,000. Okay. And it was crazy because I remember thinking like, okay, I just got to keep going. I got to keep going. And I remember having a lot of temptation coming at me. Exactly 6 months after that, I was making $5,493.28 with a lot of hard work and dedication. This is not typical, but very possible. Okay. 3 months after that, so in other words, a year and a half after I started the business, I was making over $8,000 a month. That's not typical, but it's possible with a lot of hard work and dedication and going to trainings. Okay, I'm just going to say it, and plugging into things like these and plugging into calls and just plugging in and working. Right. And because of that, you guys, I've been able to travel around the world. I've been able to do so many amazing things. I've been able to live in downtown Los Angeles, have a closet full of clothes, have shoes, like, you know, like the MTV. I had a closet one time that literally was like the MTV Cribs. Like I wanted that closet. I wanted to walk in, not have my shoes on the floor, but to have my shoes like this. And for me to be able to look at my shoes without having to look for them like this. I remember having all my clothes perfectly organized, having somebody cleaning my house, cooking for me. That's what I call lifestyle. And that's why I did this. That's why I do this business to this day. Okay. So I'm sharing all of this with you to start sparkling some thoughts in your head. Like, how do you want to live? What do you want? Okay. Start asking yourself these things, because here's the thing. You will not have anything that you didn't first see in your mind. You will not have anything unless you see it first here. Okay. And so here are some, if you don't have anything to write with, please go grab something. Okay. If you're driving, just pay attention. You can go back and watch this on the group, but here are some things you want to look at. Okay. If you are writing down something, here's the first word I want you to put. And this is going to be the rest of the call. It's going to be all about this. Here it is. Ready? Results. Results. Every so often, we've got to measure how we're doing. So here we are, week 5. Here we are, week 5 after, doing these calls. But here we are, 1.5 months of 2022. So the first question I have for you is, how are your results going? Okay, we've got to measure how we're doing. And, we got to measure some things we have to measure daily. Some things we got to measure every single week. Okay. But you cannot let too much time go by without measuring your results. How are you doing I'm not even going to talk about specifics, but how are you doing? Okay. What I am going to talk about, because that's what this call is all about, and this series is all about, is we're here to empower people to make an income while making an impact. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that, but you can take this for your body, for your relationships, for everything. Okay. So here's what I'm going to ask you. Okay. Because I had to ask these questions for myself too. Okay. By the way, these questions were asked by Jim Rohn, who's a business philosopher. And when I saw these questions, I'm like, I'm going to share them with everybody here on this chat, on this live. Okay. And he said, that he was asked, how long have you been working? So you need to ask yourself, okay, these questions were really hurtful for me. I was like, oh, I had of like check my reality, okay? So he was asked, Jim Rohn was asked by his teacher, Jim, how many years have you been working? And he had been working for 6 years. So the first question that his teacher asked, and I ask you this, okay, here we go. And that is, how much money have you saved in the years that you have been working? How much money have you saved or invested in the years that you have been working? And Jim answered to his teacher, he said, 0. And his teacher told Jim, Jim, you have messed up. That's what he told him. So I'm not going to be that. Well, actually, you know what? We got to be direct, right? And so I asked you to think about that, right? So I'm going to share with you, I was making over $8,000 a month with the hard work and dedication. And, I was 24 years old. That's a lot of money for a 24-year-old to be making, no kids, not married. And I spend it as much as came in. I literally spend it. I didn't even invest it. Like I didn't reinvest into my business. I was just spending, dumb spending. I see out. So when I looked at this, I had 0 money, and it was like, my gosh, what am I doing? Because if I keep doing this all this year in the next 5-6 years, how am I going to be living? And so the first question you want to ask yourself is that it's like, how much money do you have saved? Now, whatever that is, okay, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep having more of that. And if you're doing great, great. But if you're not doing great, here's the other question. Okay. Question number 2. Okay. Oh, sorry. He said, the teacher told him, well, you messed up. And then here's the real good question. His teacher asked him, who sold you that plan? Okay. So I want you to think about whatever you're doing right now, however you're living, however you're working, whatever you're saving, whatever you're spending on, whatever you're investing on, it's all part of a plan. So ask yourself, whose plan are you following? Whose plan are you following? Right? And is that the plan that you really want to follow? And is that the plan that's going to get you to achieve what you want? Who did you buy that plan from? And I say that with a lot of respect, because a lot of the times, like I said, we're surrounded with people that maybe don't have the kind of life that you would like, but yet you're following their plan. Think about that. Think about what I just said. You are following a plan of somebody else, and a lot of it sometimes is unconscious, and you don't even know that you're following it. Okay. And then the guy told him, so Jim, you're pretty much broke. And Jim said, yeah, I'm pretty much broke. And he said, interesting. He said, so you're broke and you live in the United States. Okay. This is the land of opportunity. There's equal opportunity for everybody. I don't care what people say. Yes, I know there's discrimination. Yes, I know that there is wage discrimination and sex discrimination. I know that. But here's the other thing I know, that wherever you are, you don't have to stay there. Okay. You don't have to stay where you're at. So a key question to ask yourself is, whose plan did you buy into? And is it working for you? Okay. Next question. In the last 6 months, okay, if you're really committed to changing your life, you're really committed to having a powerful life, you're really committed to doing something better with your life, all of that, right? If you started the new year saying, this year, it's gonna be different. This year is gonna be my year. If you drop me a heart, okay, I'm looking over here at the Facebook, drop me a heart if that's you. If you started thinking like, okay, you know what? I said this year was gonna be different. Drop me a heart and let me know if that was you. Okay, let me see. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Francis, Claudia. Okay, great. So if that's you, here's a key question to ask yourself, okay? In the last 6 months, how many books have you read? Okay, we have the world of knowledge available to us. How many books have you read? Or in this case, how many books have you listened to? Are you on Audible? Are you downloading books? Are you listening? Are you turning your car into a library, into a university? How many books have you been listening to or reading? Okay. Next question. In the last 6 months, how many classes have you attended to improve or develop new skills? How many classes have you attended to improve or develop new skills? You see, you don't have to change things around you. Actually, you really cannot change things around you. I'm going to invite you to write this down. All you got to do is look within and let the current results teach you where you are with your activity, where you are with your attitude, and where you are with your philosophy. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to change. Actually, you cannot change anything around you. But what you can do is look within and let your current results right now, look around you, look at your bank account, look what you're driving, look where you're living, look who you're hanging out with, look at your weight, look at your health, look at your mental health, look at all of that, and let those results impact you. Let that be your impact. Like, okay, you know what? This is my reality. And these results, let them teach you, because what you have is a result of your activities. It's a result of your attitude, and it's of your result of your philosophy. So here's what's so beautiful. You can change all of that if we just change our philosophy, change our attitude, and change our activity. But it's got to start within. Okay? Write this down. Results is the name of the game. Next thing you want to write down. Life only asks a few things of us, okay? Life only asks a few things of us. And here's one of the things life asks us. Life asks us to make measurable progress in reasonable time. They ask us to make measurable progress in reasonable time. Think about that. I don't know about you, but I have a son, okay? And when he goes to school, if he's in the first, and I love my son more than anything, okay? He's like the cutest thing that has a lot of energy, okay? But guess what? How long am I going to give him to be in the second grade? Like 1 year. I want him to be in the second grade for 1 school year, and I want him to then say, okay, time to go to what? 3rd grade. Time to go what? To 4th grade. I don't want my son to stay in elementary school for the rest of his life. Yet some of us stay in this moment, like we stay in this, like in kindergarten or in elementary school for the rest of our life. Right? So life only asks of us to make measurable progress in reasonable time. So I want you to ask yourself, how are you doing? Like, how are you doing this month and a half? Are you making measurable progress with reasonable time? And if my son doesn't graduate, doesn't pass the 2nd grade, I'm not going to say like, oh, he's such a good kid, let him have another year, then another year, and another year. No, I'm going to do what? I'm going to put legitimate pressure. I loved that. Okay? Because if you know me, you know me. I would love that. I would put legitimate pressure on my son to say, okay, Sebastian, time to move, time to make progress. It's time to get out of 2nd grade. It's time to go to 3rd grade. Oh, but he's such a good boy. I don't care. He's got to go. He's got to go to the next grade. So I ask you ask your children, you ask that of your children. Are you asking that of yourself? Okay. Are you asking that of yourself? And that's why we got to check in weekly, minimum, how we're doing, minimum every Sunday. Take some time to look. How am I doing? How am I doing? How am I doing? What do I need to improve on? What have I done? Great. Good job. What do I need to improve on? What do I need to do to make sure those things happen? Okay. So here's the deal. All right. Some people, they want to, again, this is a call about financial freedom, making income while making an impact. So my question for all of you who are new, well, welcome, okay? But for all the rest of us that we're already in this business, I'm going to ask you one question, and that is, how are you doing with your numbers? Okay, here's the deal. Result is a numbers game. Whether you like it or don't like it, it's a numbers game. Okay, and if you want to, have something better in your life, you've got to be in peace, that you've got to look at your numbers. For example, if you want to better your physical health and you've got, some weight to lose, you can't be like, I don't want to get on the scale. No, you need to get on the scale and you need to see, am I making progress in reasonable time? Are the numbers moving? Oh, Super Bowl weekend, I ate and drank way too much. That number went up. Okay, so guess what I need to do? I need to now say, you know what? I need to make sure that I change the numbers going this way. And here's the thing. I'm going to encourage you, okay? I don't have it with me, but I have this planner. And this planner has little tiny squares where I do my gauges. Okay, I put in the number. And that number, that little square, it only has enough space for a number, not for a story, not for reasons, not for excuses, not like, well, it was Super Bowl Sunday. No, it's like, weight plus 1. Okay, weight plus 1. Yes, yours truly gained a pound this weekend. Okay, so it's like, it doesn't say, well, because it was Super Bowl and I drank, and no, there's no space for that. So you need to understand that if you want to start having results in your life, it is a numbers game. And here's the thing. Oh, this is so good. Okay, watch this. Okay, I watch this. Okay, the numbers. Okay, this is so good. The numbers will tell us a lot. How much will numbers tell you? A lot. I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so I see Crystal Signs is on the call. Hi, Crystal. I see the little fires. Okay, so I'm going to put her on blast because I love her and I know that I can. Okay, I hope she doesn't mind. Hi, Leah. Leah's another numbers lady. Okay, so let's say I ask, so Crystal comes to me and Crystal says, okay, Karla, I'm ready. I'm ready to grow my business. Hey, I'm ready to make things happen. I say, okay, great, girl. Great. I'm going to challenge you, Crystal, okay, to reach out to 10 people this week. Okay, 10 people this week. And she's like, okay. And I say, okay, I'm going to check up on you. And then I check up on her on Friday. And let's say I call her or I text her these days and I say, Crystal, how are your numbers? Right. And she says, how many people did you reach out to? And let's say she says 20. I'm going to say what? Whoa, I got a live one here. Does that number tell me something about Crystal? Type it on the chat. Does that number tell me something about Crystal? Okay, what does it tell me? Put it on the chat. What is that telling me about Crystal? See, these are questions you need to ask yourself, okay? What are those numbers telling me about Crystal? Let's see. What are they telling me? Oh, I have to look. There we go. Okay. That she's a go-getter. Very good, Diana. Okay. That she's a go-getter. Exactly. But if I go to her and I say, Crystal, how are your 10 numbers? And she gives me, 1. I reached out to 1. Now, is that also telling me something about Crystal? Yes, absolutely. It's telling me she's not a go-getter, that it's not urgent for her, that she doesn't want it as much as she says she wants it. So here's the deal. As you're moving forward with 2022, you need to let results speak to you. You need to let results tell you what's happening. Here's what it's going to tell me. Those numbers are going to tell me, okay, a lot about your philosophy. They're going to tell me a lot about her attitude. They're going to tell me a lot about her discipline. And they're going to tell me a lot about her consistency. Okay. So those numbers are going to tell me way more than whatever freaking story, reason, or explanations can. I just asked her, how many people did you reach out to? She says 20. And I asked her to reach out to 10 and she did 20. That tells me everything. Now, if she tells me 1, that tells me everything. So here's what I want you to write down, okay? These are lessons. These are life-changing lessons, okay? Life-changing lessons. Here it is. It's for you to be willing to face the truth and be willing to face your numbers. That's how you change your life, is by willing to change your numbers. And how you change your numbers. What numbers, Karla? Your bank account numbers, your weight numbers, your cholesterol numbers, your mental health numbers, your energy numbers. All of those things can be quantified, okay? All those things can be quantified. So if you want to change your life, you've got to be willing to face the truth and face the numbers. And how do you do that? Okay, here we go. How do you do that? Number one, affirm the truth. That's how you start. You start by affirming the truth. I know it's important to be optimistic and be super positive and have amazing affirmations. I get it. I believe it. I believe all of that, okay? But here's what I'm going to tell you. All of that is fine and dandy, but if you don't face your reality, you're not, it's like, oh no, let's say you're overweight and you're like, I'm skinny. Girl, no, you're overweight. And you can declare that I'm on my way. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm on my way. I'm healthy and firm. I'm healthy and firm and thin, whatever. But you also have to understand this is my reality. And what can I do to change it? Number one, affirm the truth. Okay. And if the truth is I'm broke, as an example, well, then you know what? Then be affirm about that. You know what? Yeah, I'm broke. And if you really want to you want to make yourself move, maybe say I'm 40 and I'm broke. Okay. Or maybe you're like, I'm 40 and I'm broke and I live in America. Now, if that doesn't get you to do something, like, hello, right? You've got to be willing to face the truth. Okay. And that should be enough to move you to do something when you look at your reality. Now, some of you are going to be telling me, Karla, but when I look at my reality, it makes me depressed. I get it. But unless you don't see where you're at, there's no way you can move. Like, okay, this is where I'm at and that's where I want to go. Let's go. Okay. But if you're not doing that, you're going to stay there in denial all the time. So how do you make these changes? Number one, affirming the truth. Number two, okay, you got to start making small, I hate that word, but here it's very relative. Okay. You got to start making small disciplines, having small wins every single day, small wins. Today, I made my bed, check. Today, I drank my water, check. Today, I drank my 2 shakes, check. Today, I did my reels, check. Today, whatever you put on that list, okay? Number two is by taking those small steps, by making sure that you're taking those disciplines every single day, okay? And this is how you start to change your life. This is how you start to change your relationships. This is how you start to change your bank account. This is how you start to change your body. This is how you start to change your mindset, okay? This is how you start to change all that, is by making those small changes, okay? And just to complete this call, I want you to write this down, okay? Like I said, success is a numbers game. Get grounded with that. But here's the other thing I want you to write down, and that is you've got to be mature enough to check your numbers consistently. You've got to be mature enough to check your numbers consistently. Okay, I know that sometimes we don't want to do that because it's so ignorance is bliss. I get it. But sometimes you really got to take that time to really check those numbers. So as we complete this call today, I'm going to go back to my initial question. And that is, here we are, 2022. Here you are, right? You said you wanted all these amazing things this year. Question that you have to ask yourself is, how am I doing? How am I doing? How am I doing with the questions? Now, here's the thing. Did you even write down your goals? Did you even write down your goals for 2022? Because if you did it, that's where you should start. But for those of us who did, how are you doing? Okay, how are you doing? And if you're not doing as well as you want to do, I'm going to give you some action steps as I complete this call. Okay. Action step number one, get together with join people. Okay. Get a mentor, join a group that is going to help to uplift you. You are a product of your environment. I don't care what you say. No, yes, you are. And if you're keeping the same people around, you will not change. You just can't. and you'll start to change and they'll pull you back. You start to change and they'll pull you back. I'm not telling you to isolate yourself from them, but here's what you need to do. You need to find a new circle that's going to pull you into the new person that you want to be. So the first step I have for you is find that group. You're welcome to join us. If you want to learn how to make an income while making an impact, we are your team. Okay, we can show you how with this amazing community, these amazing products, with this amazing system. It is literally step one. You just got to follow the steps. You got to be willing to work. You got to be willing to follow the system. You got to be willing to get trained. Okay, and you got to follow the steps. Great, Elizabeth. Okay, so step number one, find yourself a different group. Find yourself a team. Find yourself people. Find yourself an environment. Okay, that can pull you towards something great. Okay, step number two. Okay, the question you got to ask yourself is, what am I going to do on a daily basis to move me closer to what I want? Maybe you got to learn to start reading your books. Maybe you got to start listening to audios. What are you going to do on a daily basis that is going to help you get closer to what you want? You cannot be like, I dream of Jeannie. Jing, I wish, okay? But it doesn't work that way. We got to put in the work. So what are you willing to do every single day? Okay? And step number three, okay? How are you going to hold yourself accountable? How are you going to hold yourself accountable? With who? Okay, so I'm going to tell you something. Yesterday, so I had, I had a moment with myself yesterday, and I started to think about these questions for myself. I started to think about, how am I doing with my finances? How am I doing with my body? How am I doing with this? How am I doing with that? All that stuff, right? And I realized, okay, that there's something in my life that I still don't have a great grip on, and it's important to me. And there's something that I really, really want, and I'm just like, okay, Karla, I know what to do. I know. You know what to do. You really do. You don't need anybody to tell you. But here's the thing. Are you doing it? So I already know what to do. I know how to do it and all that stuff. But I thought, okay, Karla, but are you doing it? And are you getting the results that you really want? Is it something that, first I asked myself, how am I doing? I was like, not too good. Second question I asked myself was, okay, what have I been doing? I'm like, well, I think I've been doing what I know, like, blah, 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 right? I was like, okay, great. And then the third question I started asking myself is, if I keep going how I'm doing, if I keep doing what I'm doing 3 months from now, right, am I going to be where I want to be? And the answer was no. So guess what I did? I reached out and I just hired a coach. Okay. So, what's so beautiful about what we do is that when you join our business, you get a coach. We don't charge you anything. We probably should. Okay. But maybe that you would value it more, but you get a coach, you get someone to guide you, that you don't reach out, that you don't take advantage of it. That's on you. But if you're part of our team and you're part of this business, I want you to know you've got people that are willing to show you, guide you every single step of the way. Now, whether you take advantage of it or use it is on you. But, I hired somebody and I'm going to pay him, and he's so great. I was on a Zoom yesterday with him and I said, okay, and I'm like your perfect client, okay? Because if I call you, because I'm ready. And I personally I'm like, ay, Diosito, tráeme gente como yo. Like, I love people like me. I don't think too much. I'm not like, oh, well, let me think. I'm like, no, let's just do it. Okay, I know I'm very weird like that, okay? But here's the thing. Successful people make decisions quick. Successful people make decisions quick and they change them slow. Not successful people make decisions very slow and they change them quick. Think about that. People that are not as successful, they take a long time to make decisions, but then they change them quick. It's not for me. It's like, you didn't even give it a chance. It took you longer to make a decision than you were in it. So I called him yesterday. I'm on a Zoom call with him and he's in Paris and we're sitting there talking and he's asking me questions. And then he said to me, okay, well, I need a minimum of a 3-month commitment. If you want to work with me, I need a 3-month commitment. And and then he explained to me why, which okay, nothing happens overnight. And then he said, and my goal is to show you and mentor you and guide you so that you can not need me eventually, right? Is for me to show you everything I know, for you to do it on your own. But I also know that if you already knew what you needed to do, you would already be doing it. And I was like, yes, you're right. And he said, so the biggest thing for me is that I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to be here. You're going to have to do this every single week. And I'm going to hold you accountable. And I said, okay, let's do it. And anyway, so as soon as he was done, I was like, okay, let's do it. What's my next step? And he's like, great. I like you already. And I'm like, and I was thinking like, man, I wish people were more like that. Well, let me think. What the hell do I have to think about? It's already a month and a half and I'm nowhere near where I know that I could be, should be, want to be. So why would I think about it? Why am I going to take another month and a half just to see if I can do it on my own? No. So I share this with you to share with you and to inspire and push you a little bit. Go after what you want. Go after the things that you want out of life. Don't ask for permission. Like, well, do you think I should? Look, the only person that needs to ask for permission is from the person in the mirror. Like, do I want this? Am I committed to this? Right. And as soon as I told him this and I'm like, okay, what's my next step? He's like, okay, I'm going to send you this and I'm going to invoice you and blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, great. Let's do it. Let's do it. And, I'll share with you guys later what that is. Okay. But I want to invite you, if you're ready to start a business and if you're not part of our team yet, reach out to the person that invited you to this call and say, hey, how do I be part of this? Like, I want to learn how to make money and make an impact. Like, I want to learn how to make an income and make an impact in my community. I want to be around amazing people that are going to uplift me, guide me, push me, and not let me like, oh, there you are, stay right there. No, we are not like that. Now, of course, it's in your hands. I cannot, how I wish to be able to pull people, but you cannot lead a horse you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't force them to drink. Okay. So if you're willing to take it on, we're willing to guide you and show you every single step of the way. I know I went a little bit longer than I'm supposed to, but I just got super inspired and motivated with that story with my coach yesterday. And I wanted to share that with you because sometimes people think, oh, they must have it all together. No, we don't. Nobody has it all together. Okay. That's why even Michael Jordan, who was the best of the best, had a coach, because the coach could see things he couldn't see. So I invite you to get together with somebody, let them know, the person that invited you to this call, let them know, hey, I want to be part of this team. I want to learn how to make some extra income. I want to change my body. I want to change my health, and I'm ready to take control of my life. Okay. No, we don't. Yes, Crystal. All right. With that said, you guys, thank you so much. We will see you guys next week. Same channel, same everything. 12 o'clock noon here in California. You're very welcome. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.